What is up? It is Williams Carnivorous Nursery here. So in this video, we are going to be going over winter dormancy. So these plants require winter dormancy to pretty much keep them healthy all year round. I've heard you can skip it a couple years, but I don't recommend it. So let your plant go into dormancy every single year. So basically all I do is leave my plant outside. As I live in Georgia, the temperature can get pretty cold, but not as cold. So pretty much to see if your plant's going dormant is basically looking at the leaves and seeing how short they are, how close to the ground they are. And that's basically how you know your plant is going dormant. So what I'm doing here is trimming all the black leaves to pretty much prevent mold, which is one of the killers of this plant. And it's very easy for it to form mold, especially since these are bog plants, they sit in water. And that's another thing, the mold comes up. So here's a video of all the summer traps that I have basically cutting off right now. So they did pretty good this year. It was pretty fun growing them. You'll pretty much see all the plants and see how much growth they have went down. But this is no worry. This is pretty normal for this plant. This is what really discourages a lot of people, is these plants pretty much look dead. They will continue to die off. And I've seen worse. I've seen some of the leaves pretty much all go away and it's just a rhizome left. Me living in Georgia, I can usually keep these plants outside all year long. The only time I have to bring it in is if the temperature drops below, usually 28. I usually don't try to leave them outside in the 20s because the soil will freeze up and usually it can harm the plant from the roots and the rhizome. So I usually try to bring it in and put it in the garage, and that's just fine. The only thing you have to worry about is keeping these plants moist. During dormancy, you do not need to keep these things in water, as they are very prone to mold if you just keep them in water. Usually how I control mold is usually leaving it outside, which is another thing. It being in fresh air and having fresh oxygen pretty much moves all that air around and it keeps the mold at bay. These plants are going to be transferred over the spring into a different pot, as all these plants are starting to get way too big and they need more room. It was so nice to see all these plants grow over the summer, and now that they are asleep, springtime is going to be a blast watching these things grow to their full potential. As some of these plants, they're very new, and some of them I've recently just got. And some of these pots I'm just going to reuse for the new seedlings I'm going to have for next year. Going through the first dormancy can be very worrisome, but there really isn't anything to worry about as long as you keep the soil just moist and then trimming off all the dead leaves. So these plants don't usually come out of dormancy until pretty much late February. That's when they'll start to emerge out of the ground and they will grow their traps again. Another thing to remember during dormancy, that these plants will not need food. Your plant before dormancy happened has already eaten enough food for it to withstand the next 4 months. That is pretty much it with the dormancy video and me pretty much doing maintenance on my own plants. And if you ever have any type of questions, I am always reading the comment section. So if you ever have a question, just leave a comment and I'll get back to you pretty soon. Thank you for watching this video and I hope you enjoyed it.